Welcome to this practice on the Yoga Sutras. We're going to take the next sutra in the discussion where we get to learn what are the 5 vrittis. My student is my cat. And we're also going to learn of the first of the 5 vrittis, what are the 3 ways that it shows up in our lives, or what are the 3 options for that vritti. So let's take a comfortable seat. Rest your hands in your lap. As you come into your seat, lengthen up through your spine. Relax your shoulder blades and the space between your eyebrows. And welcome your breath to drop down into your pelvis, into the seat of the self, the svadhisthana. Wherever you happen to be sitting, it's likely a bit familiar to you, or at the very least you had a clear view of your surroundings before you closed your eyes. So as you have the eyes closed, I'd like you to imagine that as you're sitting where you are, there is a very dense fog in front of you. A fog dense enough that you can't see through it. And imagine as you're breathing in and making your dedication to being here, you come into an internal sense of trusting what you once saw to be on the other side of the fog. As you exhale, invite the fog to dissipate. So at one time you had a clear view of what was in front of you. Maybe a table, a bookshelf, a curtain, a window. And though your eyes are closed and you can't directly see it, you're able to draw from the recognition of it inside. And now bring into your awareness any near memory, or the nearest, most proximal memory of you experiencing relief or peace or tranquility or consciousness. And even if that's not with you directly, as you sit in this place, bring to mind this nearest proximal memory of peace, of equanimity, of consciousness. And as you breathe that in, even if the mind is actually foggy upon arriving for the session, as you breathe in this nearby memory, invite it to be more sharp and more clear until you are recalling the direct experience of consciousness or grace or equanimity. Now, as you summon that direct experience, I'm going to ask you to also consider that which you touched in terms of equanimity or consciousness or grace, it has not been coming and going. You might have been coming and going from it. So the fog might be settling in and then it's dissipating and it settles in and it dissipates. Or an example we might use is if you had your eyes open and you were gazing at the table, the window, the bookshelf, and then you blinked, and you imagine that it all disappeared, and then you open the eyes and it came back, you would have this experience of that which you are seeing as being intermittent. But when we blink, we don't think that what we're not seeing during the blink has evaporated. We don't think during the blink that the world has evaporated, and upon opening our eyes, the world has come back. So in the same way, sometimes our mental blink, the mental fog, is going on for a long time. And we don't realize. that consciousness or grace, or that abiding presence, equanimity or love, is actually the ongoing, ever-present suchness that we are. So we mistake ourselves to be the fog that settles in, or the disturbance on the surface of the water that occurs from the rain or the birds, the jet skis. We mistake ourselves to be those things. So right now, again, without having to open the eyes, and while connecting to your most proximal memory of clarity or consciousness, see if you could sense that it's not coming and going. You may, of course, have mental fluctuations. Those are called vrittis. You may naturally feel like you've come and gone from it, but it hasn't left you. So that's what I'm asking you to sense, that it hasn't left you. And now add into your awareness a felt sense of seeing someone else expressing this consciousness or love or grace, or maybe it's somebody that you've seen in a 12-step recovery program, and their recovery and their radiance and their health or clarity is very inspiring to you. So you're seeing the yoga lived out in someone, or the 12 steps lived out in someone's life, and you can sense the power of the practice, the power of the teachings, the power of the community, because you're seeing it showing up in this other person's life. So bring to mind either a teacher of great exaltation, or somebody that you admire, or a person that you see as sattvic, as balanced and clear. And you can make a reasonable estimation that through the dedication of their practice, through being a part of the teachings, through daily effort to be, let's say, in recovery or to be in yoga, you're seeing that lived out in their life now. So there's a way that it shows up in them that inspires you. So now you have your most proximal memory, and then you have a person or a couple of people or a group of people that inspire you. And now let's add to that you've heard the teachings of yoga, you've seen them written down, or maybe you've read something and you've read that you are that which you seek. Or you've read something like equanimity is a state of mind that can be settled into. You've read these teachings, and they might seem slippery or mysterious, but actually you've seen them documented in multiple places with consistency. So add that to your field of understanding. Okay, and then please raise your hands to your heart, and just keeping that feeling kind of swelling in your body or your heart or your awareness. Please bring your palms to Anjali Mudra. We give our appreciation and our homage to Patanjali, Sri Patanjali, for the texts that help us with our grammar, with our minds, and with our bodies. Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Chavajakena Yopakarotam Pravaramonina Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So you may bow your head to your heart. Release your hands and open your eyes. Right? So what we're exploring there is the sense that from where do we experience the first of the 5 vrittis, which is called Pramana. So let's first understand what the 5 vrittis are as outlined in the Yoga Sutras. We have Pramana, Vipariyaya, Vikalpa, Nidra, and Smriti. So Pramana is considered clear perception, the only one of these that's really worthy of our deep investment. This one is clear perception, and that clear perception is considered to come about through a couple of means. One is direct experience. So having a sense of the direct experience of the thing that we've heard about, for example, or the thing that we are studying. So we have direct experience of it, and that means that there's a kind of felt sense in the physical body. We can feel it on our own, right? It's been verified by a direct experience that has consistency and continuity, and it's something that we can return to. Ultimately, we're not returning to it because it's not coming and going. Ultimately, we hope to abide there. But initially, as we have these direct experiences or this sense of clear perception about something, we're probably feeling like we're coming and going from it because our mind interrupts. The vrttis come in and we feel ourselves getting interrupted. So we may feel like we come back to it, but actually it hasn't left us. Right? And then vipariyaya is false knowing or misperception, misconstruing, misunderstanding. Right? And we'll break down each one of these in their own discussion on the sutras. So we'll go further into what that is and how that occurs in a follow-up video. Okay, and then we have vikalpa, which means imagination or fantasy, something that's fictitious, something that we're making up. It's not in relationship to reality. Sometimes that happens with things like gossip, right? So something is getting made up, and then as it goes around the gossip circle or the gossip mill, it starts to change, it gets transmuted, people add to it, and now you have an entirely fictitious story that you think to be real, and then we're lost in the vrittis of that vikalpa. And then we have nidra, which means deep sleep, but also means being deeply asleep, like caught up in ignorance or in the void, in the absence of mental activity, the kind of slumber or dullness, we might call it in modern neuroscience, the dorsal vagal parasympathetic nervous system reaction. Okay, and then we have smriti or smritayaha, as we're going to hear it in this particular sutra. And smriti means memory or remembrance. So smriti is when we get caught up in the past and we're holding on to past experiences that are either unresolved and we're hoping to resolve them, or they were pleasant and we want to revisit them. And so we're clinging to the past. And we're also caught up in how the past, we interpret it as then predisposing the future. So we imagine the past is repeating itself when experiences happen today in the present moment. And so these are the 5 vrittis, and very brief definitions about each one of them, because we'll go more deeply into the second set of 4 vrittis. So that's vipariyaya, vikalpa, nidra, and smriti. We'll go into that in each individual video. Today I'd like to go deeply into pramana. That's why I started with that meditation, so you could sense the 3 ways of coming into clear perception or into right knowledge. Right, so let's do the Yoga Sutra 1.6 in call and response for each word, and then we'll do them as a couple words, and then we'll do it as a full sutra. Okay, so take a comfortable seat. Pramana, 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 pramana. Vipariyaya, 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 vikalpa, 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 nidra, 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 smritaya, 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 smritaya. Now a couple words together. Pramana vipariyaya, pramana vipariyaya, pramana vipariyaya, pramana vipariyaya, pramana vipariyaya vikalpa, Pramana viparyaya vikalpa. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa. And we'll add another. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra. And now all together. Pramana viparyaya vikalpa nidra smritaya. 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 So allow that to rest in you. Let it simmer. So there are 5 vrittis, only 5 to keep track of. That's good news, right? Only 5. And the one worth investing in is called Pramana, clear perception. So recalling your nearest memory of consciousness or grace, or bringing to mind a person whose life you can see this emanating from them, you can see it lived out in them, so you can kind of infer from that, you can make a logical conclusion that the result of the dedication of their practice or their recovery is showing through and inspiring you. And then also sensing the depth and duration of the texts, the teachings that are showing up in the text. So there are 3 kinds of clear perception, 3 ways to come into clear perception. One is direct experience. Direct experience is called pratyaksha. Okay. One is by logical reasoning or inference, so seeing it lived out in somebody else and really feeling inspired by that, and that's called anumana. Right? And then also using the texts of yoga. So agama, the texts of yoga, are a verified resource for us to come into clear perception. Like the text is trustworthy. Perhaps somebody else has given their dedication to the teachings and the text, and you see it in their life showing up beautifully. And then you practice, you find some inroads to practicing yoga, and you realize, oh, you're having the direct experience of what you saw in them and what you read in the texts. And that's called pramana. So let's do it in call and response, 1 word at a time, then a couple of words, and then we'll make the whole sutra. Okay. Pratyaksha, 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 anumana, 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 agama, 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 pramanani, 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 pramanani. Pratyakshanumana, 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 pratyakshanumana. Adding another word. Pratyakshanumanagama. 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 Now the whole sutra. Pratyakshanumanagama pramanani. Pratyakshanumanagama pramanani. Pratyakshanumanagama pramanani. Pratyakshanumanagama pramanani. So allow that to simmer. And then raise your hands to your heart, please. So may we have clear perception, pramanani, through direct experience, which we take to be the most reliable, right, when we actually have experienced something. You can hear of a beautiful hot springs place, and you can hear of how amazing the water is, but until you go and you get in it, you're still only hearing about it. You may hear of people coming back from this beautiful place, having transformational experiences, but until you are there experiencing your direct experience, is not yet known to you. So we have also a roadmap telling us how to get there. So you have either three options: direct experience, seeing it as reasonably inferred in somebody else or in something else, or by reasonable scientific inference, and then by the texts or the scriptures in yoga in this case. So may we have clear perception through direct experience. Okay, we'll chant the sound of Om and then Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you very much, everyone. Namaste. This kitty was a little bit pestering, so she was asking to be picked up. And she got calmed down. So today is garbage recycling and yard debris day here, and that makes her anxious. Maybe you heard the garbage trucks when we were having our session. So this is, I'm having the direct experience of joy. You're having the logical reasoning, the inferred experience of joy, or maybe you're remembering your own joy to hold a warm, purring, fuzzy creature. Okay, thank you very much for being here. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for sharing your practice. If this was helpful to you, please don't forget to click the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I'd love to see you back here for other sessions. If you have questions or comments down below the video, by all means, you can leave those down there too. And I look forward to hearing from you and seeing you again. Namaste.